Okay, guys, today I'm going to do I'm going to call it an extension of lesson 2.2. And we were combining like terms and simplifying expressions. So what if you get a problem like this and they want you to simplify it? Essentially, this means that 35x is being divided by 5 and 15 is being divided by 5. So just like if the 5 was sitting outside of 35x minus 15, you would have to do the 5 by each of these things. The same is going to be the case for this fraction division, where we're essentially dividing each of these terms by 5. So if we divide 35x by 5, we get 7x. And if we divide 15 by 5, we get 3. So that would be the simplified version of this problem. And let's do it here. See, maybe you're not seeing maybe what I see, but you can still simplify within the fraction. You can go, wait a second, 7 goes into this twice, and 7 goes into this 6 times. And then you go, wait a second, 2 goes into this once, and 2 goes into this 3 times. So this becomes 3 minus 1x, which is really just 3 minus x. You could also write this as negative x plus 3, because remember, 3 minus x is the same thing as 3 plus a negative x. Okay, so that's the answer we'd be looking for there. And you probably don't realize what you've done here, but you've done this thing called factoring. Factoring becomes a really big deal in algebra, okay? So we're going to look at these and we're going to look at factoring. And really what we're doing is we're looking at the terms in this expression, and we're finding the GCF of all the terms in the expression. So how many terms do I have? I have 2 terms. I have 24x and I have 16. What do you think is the biggest number, or maybe even variable, that would divide evenly into 24x that also divides evenly into 16? And I hope you're seeing it as being 8, okay? So essentially, what I want you to think about is, what if we were to take this and divide 8 out, okay? If we divide 8 out, it becomes 3x plus 2. Do you see it? And all we did was we took the 8 out of the first term by dividing, and we took the 8 out of the second term by dividing. So when I ask you to factor something, it's kind of like you're doing, it's kind of like you're doing this, dividing by 8, but you actually don't necessarily write it like that. All you do is you come up with what that greatest common factor is. We decided that it's 8. And then I do the reverse of the distributive property, and I divide 8 out of both terms. So it's like I'm taking the 8 out of the 16, and I'm taking the 8 out of the 24 instead of putting the 8 in. Now, this is my answer in factored form, but you should be able to tell that if I were to distribute this and put it back in, wouldn't I get 24x? Oh, that shouldn't be a 16 there. Now I see my mistake. That should be a 2. Oh, that was a good check. I'm glad I did that. You can see that 8 times 3x would be 24x, and 8 times 16 would be 2. Okay, so I'm going to take these arrows out, and I'm going to write this correctly because I didn't have it written correctly. This should be a 2. Sorry. Okay, let's look at this one. 2 terms, 45 and negative 36y. What is the greatest common factor of those 2 terms? Hopefully we've done enough GCF that you can look at 45 and 36 and you can actually see a 9. Now you're going to divide the 9 out. If I divide 45 by 9, I get 5. If I divide 36y by 9, I get 4y. And again, you can always check it by putting that 9 back in and seeing, does it equal 45 minus 36y? And it does. So you have just done this thing called factoring. You factored the expression.